Today we have some very big news coming out of the pet food industry. Today we have a 2.6 billion against Hill's Pet Nutrition. I don't know whether you remember this, but there has been so much talk about legumes and all the components causing DCM in dogs. The whole crux of the lawsuit, the whole crux of the matter refers to the belief, the potential that some of these grain-free dog foods do indeed cause heart failure in some of our dogs. Well, we now have a formal lawsuit, and here we see that the lawsuit alleged that Hills and a group of veterinarians worked together to manipulate the FDA into examining the possibility that certain grain-free dog foods increase pets' risk for the potentially deadly heart disease, dilated cardiomyopathy. And I don't know you, but ever since this study came out and ever since this came into the spotlight, there has been an increasing number of people being concerned with grain-free dog foods. And some of the lobbies in the pet food industry are really pushing this narrative. And so obviously, with the advent of grain-free dog foods, some people are asking whether those foods are good or bad. Well, now we seem to have a bit of a clash of modus operandi within the pet food industry. The article carries on reading that more than a year has passed since the FDA announced that the agency found insufficient data to establish causality among pet food products and cases of dilated cardiomyopathy. On February 6th, Keto Natural Pet Foods filed a proposed class action lawsuit against Hill's Pet Nutrition. The lawsuit alleged that Hills and a group of vets worked together to manipulate the FDA into examining the potential that certain grain dog foods increase pets' risk for DCM. The plaintiff seeks $2.6 billion in damages from Hills, and the lawsuit was filed in the United States District Court for the District of Kansas. The lawsuit itself is pretty interesting, and here we see that the alleged motivation was to undermine public trust in other pet food brands, including Keto Natural, which is marketed as a low carbohydrate kibble. The conspiracy was allegedly intended to improve Hill's sales and reverse the erosion of its market share by smaller pet food companies. If you ask me what this sort of thing is about, this thing is about money. Like most things in the pet food industry, there are so many interests trying to take money from your pocket and for companies to pocket your money. And so Hills is owned by Colgate-Palmolive. In the 4 years immediately preceding the launch of the FDA investigation, it's alleged that Hills lost 20% of its market share, according to the lawsuit. In the 5 years since the investigation began, it has been arguably the fastest growing pet food company in the country. We see that in 2018, Hill's annual revenue was approximately $2.3 billion, and 4 years earlier, 2013, the company's annual revenue stood at $2.2 billion. So this was a very high growing company, a very fast growing company. And allegedly, some of these low carbohydrate foods, some of these grain dog foods had been taking market share from Hills. And so the lawsuit is trying to prove that Hills actually corralled the FDA into writing reports and spreading a bit of misinformation. We have actually seen this for ourselves. We have seen many people come to our branches, and we see all the time in our consultancy services that people are actually concerned about legumes in pet food and about grain-free dog foods. They don't seem to be concerned about the corn, the wheat, the barley, the meat and animal derivatives, the corn gluten meals, the sugar, the dextrose in pet food, yet a bit of legumes and some potato in grain-free dog foods and high meat dog foods seem to be the problem. And this has been going on for quite some time now, and obviously now we are going to go to court and we are going to see whether this is actually worth its salt or not. My prediction is that it might be very, very difficult to prove intent and to prove the lobbying of different vets with the FDA to undermine some of these other companies. Bear in mind that in the last few years, the trends have been that grain-free dog foods seem to be better for our pets. It really is a reflection of the education in you, the consumer. You are now turning bags of food over. You are now examining ingredients. You are now questioning some of these ingredients that certain vets might ask you to feed your pet. And for you to watch content like this and to inform yourself as to what the best dog food is or the best cat food is for your pet. This study has been really at the heart of many conversations we have had with customers and people all over the world concerned about grain-free dog foods and about Hills's belief that these grain-free dog foods really do cause dilated cardiomyopathy, allegedly. What we can say for sure, what we can actually put our dollars on is you, the consumer. You are now more educated than ever. You now have resources. You now have access to information. It is very hard for people to read different things, to involve themselves in the pet food industry, to read ingredients, to read labels, to examine their dog or their cat's overall well-being, and to come to the conclusion that you should put a lot of these ingredients in your dog or cat's food. And so if you are really as passionate as we are about dog and cat nutrition, you should really get informed. And the best way for you to learn more about pet food is to watch this video next.